Where's my Coke? I need a Coca-Cola.
The Coca-Cola Company may be a huge corporation, but the road to success is never an easy one. Here to remind us of all the times Coca-Cola's name was dragged through the mud are 15 Coca-Cola drinks that embarrassed the company.
Shame on you.
OK Soda.
Okay.
OK Soda has to have been one of Coca-Cola's strangest releases to date. Released in 1993 in order to try and capture the attention of Generation X, the entire theme of OK Soda looks like something out of George Orwell's 1984. This was highly intentional. You see, OK is the most recognized word in the world, so Coke thought that they were onto something there, especially with the addition of cynical and disillusioned images and accompanying slogans. While in 2021, some might hear OK and think of Cardi B's catchphrase with all the hype and energy. In reality, Coca-Cola's version of OK Soda in the 1990s was kind of the polar opposite.
Yikes, that's a recipe for disappointment.
Dark, dismal, and full of dismay, OK Soda was meant to capture Generation X's hearts, but instead it just got the boot in 1995, 2 years after its release. Coca-Cola Green Tea.
Say green.
The Coca-Cola Company has dabbled in the health milieu over the years. Back in the summer of 2009, they released Coca-Cola Green Tea. Exclusive to Japan, this drink was said to have health benefits, be delicious, and even provide beauty benefits as well.
Not bad. Not bad.
The drink was said to have antioxidants from green tea extracts called catechins. Oh, and most importantly, it was even said to have a nice green tea flavor. The company directed their marketing strategy towards a young female demographic, mainly targeting women in their 20s and 30s. While we can applaud Coca-Cola's efforts to attempt a, healthy, hybrid type of drink, for some reason the phrase, "stay in your lane," just keeps coming to mind. Vault.
Whoa, Mama, there's a kick like a mule!
Vault by Coca-Cola is a perfect example of why you should never compare yourself to others. Introduced in 2005, Vault was made to rival Mountain Dew.
Big mistake. Big. Huge.
This green citrus energy-style drink was hoping that young and athletic men would quench their thirst with a Vault. But it turns out the drink was no match for Mountain Dew. The advertisements claimed that Vault drinks like a soda, kicks like an energy drink. But it would appear as though buyers weren't convinced. And so, in 2011, Vault catapulted into retirement. Garlic Coke.
What did you say?
We bet Buffy the Vampire Slayer wishes she had some cans of these bad boys back in the day. But alas, both Buffy and Garlic Coke are fictional. That's right, Photoshop strikes again. Garlic Coke never actually existed, but despite never having created it, Coca-Cola was temporarily tainted with a funny rep due to the stench of garlic. So here's what went down. A purple can of cherry Coke was edited sometime around 2014 to look like a can of Garlic Coke, and the mere suggestion at Garlic Coke's existence offended the internet.
Easy peasy.
But as we have said before, this was merely a hoax. Garlic Coke not only doesn't exist, but it never existed, except as a doctored photograph in digital reality. Mare Rosso.
What in the devil's name is this?
We've said it before, and we'll say it again. Stay in your own lane.
I'm for real. I'm for real.
The Coca-Cola Company in Spain definitely did not figure that out by the time they created Mare Rosso. In order to keep up with the Joneses, or Pepsi, more accurately, Coca-Cola created Mare Rosso as an answer to Pepsi's Cas drink. Cas was bitter, it was herb-flavored, it was everything you wouldn't really want or expect from a Coca-Cola beverage, but alas, that didn't stop them. Coca-Cola created Mare Rosso, and the public pretty much said, heck no, and the drink eventually was discontinued. It would seem that bitter is not exactly on brand for Coca-Cola, and neither was the Mare Rosso. New Coke.
How do you even drink that? Because it's delicious.
Now, New Coke is the Coca-Cola blunder that needs no introduction. It is that infamous. So New Coke was invented to change things up at Coca-Cola due to a slip in sales around 1985. The Coca-Cola Company was trying to revamp their traditional recipe, but in the end, New Coke was pretty much doomed Coke and never saw mainstream success. Coca-Cola HQ in Atlanta, Georgia was overwhelmed with tens of thousands of complaints from Coca-Cola loyalists who wanted wanted that old Coke back. Things even got so heated in the Coca-Cola fandom that one fan created an organization called the Old Cola Drinkers of America, who looked at filing a class action lawsuit against the Coca-Cola Company in response to New Coke.
Wow.
The backlash spoke volumes, and the company listened. After only 3 short months of being on the market, the original Coke was back as Coke Classic, and New Coke faded into the background. After a name change or two, New Coke was finally retired. Tab Clear.
Give me a tab.
Tab? I can't give you a tab unless you order something.
Tab was introduced in the 1960s as the first diet soda at Coca-Cola, and it had a great run. In the 1990s, Tab expanded its line with a clear soda called Tab Clear. It tasted just like good old dependable Tab, but was, well, you guessed it, clear. Coke most likely released Tab Clear in response to Pepsi's clear soda, Crystal Pepsi. Well, in a strange twist of events and a rather Machiavellian approach to business, Coca-Cola torpedoed its own drink in order to do the same to Pepsi's clear drink as well. You see, since the drink was a diet drink, they knew that it wasn't going to sell from the jump. But when it would be placed next to Pepsi's clear drink, Crystal Pepsi, people would assume that both drinks were diet, when in reality only the Tab Clear was.
I see what you did there.
Well, Coke's diabolical genius worked, and Crystal Pepsi was no more by 1993, and Tab Clear soon followed with its discontinuation the next year. C2.
You sure there's no rum in that Coca-Cola?
Whenever Coca-Cola wants to hop on the health train, it seems like they get burned. First released in Japan in 2002 and making its way to the United States 2 years later, C2 was the sorta kinda healthy Coke drink that was halfway between diet and classic. It would appear as though this drink had an identity crisis before it even had a chance to get off the ground, because it was the in-between drink no one really wanted.
Maybe next time, Deshaun.
Well, it would seem there was not much of a need or demand for this in-between sort of option, and C2 would be discontinued in 2007. A for effort, Coca-Cola, but ultimately you get an F in execution for this one. Diet Coke Plus.
It's diet, dude. Diet soda doesn't give you diarrhea.
It would appear as though semantics would play a large role in the demise of Diet Coke Plus. Despite having an alternative name, Coca-Cola Light Plus, both names would prove problematic in the eyes of the FDA. Diet Coke Plus was Coca-Cola Company's full-fledged venture into the health and energy market circa the late 2000s. Americans were putting the dots together regarding the health hazards of drinking soda and its connection to obesity. So Coca-Cola needed to counter that movement with some healthy drink options. Well, the company rolled out Diet Coke Plus, and the FDA rolled out its warning to the beverage giant. Apparently, the FDA wasn't down with using the term plus in the drink's name. Anything labeled plus must have a minimum of 10% more of the daily reference value of a nutrient than a comparable product. And, well, Diet Coke Plus didn't meet those requirements.
Horse!
That warning letter was written by the FDA in 2008, and the drink was finally removed from shelves 3 years later. Bacon Coca-Cola.
What?
The myth and the legend, Bacon Coca-Cola would appear to have been just that. That's right, once again, the internet has been fooled by Photoshop into dragging Coca-Cola for something that they did not do.
Why?
It would appear as though someone had little else better to do one day than create a fictional Coca-Cola drink via supreme editing skills to drive the Coca-Cola fandom mad. There are so many baconized items out there on the market for you to try, but sadly, a bacon Coca-Cola is not one of them. Bacon Coca-Cola may have made a dent in Coca-Cola's reputation, but we're pretty sure the fact that it isn't even real pretty much neutralizes the damage. Or does it make it worse for the bacon fans out there who would have lined up for this drink? You can decide. Sprite Remix.
One Diet Sprite remix, please.
Sprite Remix was created to appeal to a younger demographic, but alas, it only lasted 2 years on the market. Introduced in 2003, this colorless and caffeine-free drink release also came in packet form that you could add to regular Sprite.
That's interesting. That's very interesting.
The packets came in grape, vanilla, and cherry options for flavors, and the drinks came in Tropical Remix, Berry Clear Remix, and Aruba Jam Remix. Discontinued in 2005, Coca-Cola may have been trying to spice it up with this one, but it looks like this product was just allocated to the archives instead. Except 2016 saw the temporary return of the Tropical Remix flavor because word is that these drinks were actually kinda tasty. So did Coca-Cola embarrass themselves more by pulling this product from shelves or putting them there altogether? One has to wonder. Citra.
There's also orange juice and grapefruit juice.
Coca-Cola tried its hand at citrus drinks that failed a few times, and Citra is no different. You see, in 1998, the Coca-Cola Company introduced this caffeine-free grapefruit-type soda to the market. And to be honest, it did get a following, but not as large of a following as the company had anticipated. Similar to Fresca, which is also owned by Coca-Cola, Citra tried to do its own thing, but the numbers weren't doing theirs.
100 minus 43, take the 1 from the 0. Wait.
So it eventually got pulled, but then recategorized as a member of the Fanta brand. Citra made a reappearance as Fanta Citrus, but was discontinued pretty soon after. Coca-Cola Blak.
Another cold brew? Don't mind if I cold do.
Coca-Cola Blak could have been the caffeinating drink of our dreams, but instead it became the caffeinated drink of our past. This drink was poppin' in caffeine. At 46 milligrams per 10-ounce bottle, Coca-Cola Blak was a coffee/Coke drinker's fantasy drink. You see, regular Coke has 34 milligrams per 12-ounce bottle, making Coca-Cola Blak just about 2 times more caffeine abundant than a Coca-Cola Classic.
It's too much! It's too much!
Despite its ability to keep you alert, Coca-Cola Blak was discontinued in 2008 because people didn't like the flavor. And also, the competition in the energy drink market is fierce. Coca-Cola's Beverly.
I made a mistake.
Now, many different Coca-Cola products have been launched in various geographical regions, and Beverly is one such product. No, this drink wasn't launched for the famous 90210 jurisdiction of Beverly Hills, but Beverly is actually a non-alcoholic aperitif of Italy.
Che cosa?
Peter, what are you doing?
Speaking Italian.
Beverly managed to stay an active member on the Italian market for a good 4 decades, from 1969 to 2009. Interestingly enough, this was not because of how good it was. Beverly's taste was so gross, but people came to love it. Or hate it. We're still not quite sure on that one. Beverly was a pretty bitter and somewhat herbal drink that was overall pretty gross. It would appear as though this gross uniqueness would have a hand in Beverly's long-running success, in that this would give it its charm. In fact, Beverly was very popular at the World of Coca-Cola museums. It would seem like Beverly's uniqueness appealed to taste testers at the museum. Coke Life.
It's organic!
The 2010s saw a conscious rise in people increasingly wanting environmentally friendly consumables that are good for their health. So Coca-Cola tried to answer that cry with Coke Life. Coke Life came in nifty green wrappers, so you knew that signified they were eco-conscious and healthier, and a sizably decreased amount of sugar. More accurately, Coke Life had 45% less sugar than Coke and was made with natural sweeteners in the place of sugar.
Game changer.
With less calories, less sugar, and a lighter carbon footprint with Coke Life, you would think this drink, launched in 2014, would have done some impressive sales numbers. But in fact, sales were low, and Coke Life was discontinued 3 years later in 2017.
No! God!
Thirsty for more? Just tap or click for more great videos. Hit that subscribe button and ring that bell to join our notification squad.